All right, what's up, everybody? We are on the second episode of Chernobyl, which is called Please Remain Calm. Yeah, don't worry about it. Nothing's going on at all. God, I just came off of watching the first episode literally like half an hour ago, and it was fantastic. I was so into it. Of course, I'd always been fascinated by the Chernobyl event, but then, yeah, getting to basically see, I guess, some of it, what was going on behind the scenes, um, even if it is reenacted, like it was just I mean, it was heartbreaking on one side, but it's also super intriguing, of course, on the other, right? It's like, okay, it's just crazy to realize that some of this is actual history when you think about it, that these events happened. And again, like I do wonder about the actual accuracy of how they portray it here versus the event itself. That's the thing. As far as Chernobyl, the disaster goes, there's a lot of stuff that's contested, right? Like people aren't even sure how many actual casualties came off of the whole disaster. You had people, of course, dying on the spot, on the scene as it happened in that evening, right? As the reactor sort of exploded and the fire broke out and everything. But there's also a bunch of deaths that still occurred afterwards, simply by all the damage that the radiation caused, stuff like that, right? And all of that. Yeah, again, I mean, it's interesting because even I think the very first scene in that episode was the guy talking about how history, like he talked about how history, I don't exactly know, I can't quote it anymore, but like history has its inaccuracies, right? And even sort of yeah, the way we sort of, as I guess, as governments or as institutions, we just want to have somebody to blame, I guess, right? So he talks about that one guy. I think the guy that he talked about was the one with the mustache, who we saw, of course, denying everything that was happening. No, the core never exploded. What are you talking about? And he kept sending his guys to go and check it and to fill it with water and all that stuff. When the whole thing was fucking gone, but whatever, they put him apparently behind bars for like 10 years. And the character in the beginning talks about how, yeah, he just deserves death, but there's a bunch more people that do. But all that the system, I guess, cared about is like, well, let's at least have somebody to blame, right? Because then people can move on. A sane world is a just world. That's how he said it. I think it's so. I mean, it is. Yeah, I can't say that like, oh yeah, he's absolutely right or something, right? I mean, that's the thing. As an individual, like I am, and like how I, tend to very much sort of look at the world very from an individualistic perspective, I guess, it's impossible to know everything. And even when it comes to history, there are so many events that we know about that occurred in history, but we don't even know if what they're telling us is true. We don't know that, like, some of these words pass down from person to person, and we know how much stories can easily change, right? If people just, like, you can even do those kinds of experiments where people tell something to another, and then when they tell the same story to a different person again, they just forget half of the details, and they actually twist some of them too, because they, yeah, I don't know, they make it up on the spot, or they feel like they believe that's how it was told to them, but it's not the case at all. Again, all of that stuff is super fascinating to think about. But yeah, I guess I'm sort of rambling here and going off topic. All that is to say is, like, history, I've really started to grow an appreciation for it in recent years, I guess. Whereas in school, I talked about that too in the intro last time, that like in school, I never really cared for it much because you just get to read it off of books. And I feel like it doesn't, for me, that never worked, like having a teacher explain it to you and reading in books and stuff. It just, I don't know, it's boring. Whereas actually getting it from a show, or in my case, from games in the past, for example, where I played that Call of Duty mission with Chernobyl, yeah, that's what leads me to then actually become interested in it and to look up more about it afterwards. So I don't know what else I can say. I mean, this episode, again, it's called Please Remain Calm. This is a thing. We're probably going to see the aftermath now. Well, I say aftermath, but we're still right in the middle of it. But we're going to see the next day in Pripyat, where the last scene already teased, like, oh, kids are still happily going to school. And in the meantime, there was a bird falling from the sky, and, yeah, God, it's so, these shots, they're so incredible, honestly. But that's what we're still gonna have to see about. I do recall that it wasn't until about maybe 36 hours later, I feel I always read that, like, that's when they finally started evacuating people. So basically, maybe late that next day, or maybe even the day after, that people start to actually leave the city, realizing at what danger they're in. But yeah, that's what I'm excited about. You know, at the same time, we have, of course, that guy from the opening who we did get a little glimpse of at the end. He was summoned to some kind of committee. He knows about reactors. So he's going to learn now about the actual true side of it, I guess. Well, that's from his perspective, but it's what he ended up committing suicide over and recording all of his recollections, I guess, on those tapes. So, yeah, all in all, there's lots to get into here, and I'm excited. Yeah, it feels wrong to say I'm excited to get into it, but again, I'm fascinated to get into the next episode, and that's what we're gonna do. Of course, guys, if you enjoy my reactions to Chernobyl, then you can already watch the next 3 episodes straight away over my Patreon page, which is going to be linked on top of the description. Over there, we're already done with the show, so yeah, if you want, you can check out the remaining episodes over there right now, straight away, as well as, of course, full-length versions if you want to see me react to the episodes in their entirety. With that being said, let's get into it.
Только пожарище на русской земле раскидав позади, на наших глазах умирали товарищи.
I wish I could know what it was saying. 7 hours after.
Но трижды поверив, что жизнь уже вся.
The sound is so good that I literally thought somebody came into my own room.
You work too hard.
Where is everyone?
It's Saturday.
Why did you come in?
I work too hard. Boiling in here.
Doesn't even know what day it is. Yeah, that's an alarm. What is this, a regular school?
8 Runken. Leak?
No. It would have gone off before. It's coming from outside.
Oh, they have a detector. Some precautionary measures, I guess, for being this close to the plant. They're probably gonna warn people, right? Actually, what is this building? Maybe it's not a regular school, but it does have to do with the plant.
It's not military. It's uranium decay. U-235.
Ignalina, maybe 240 kilometers away.
Oh, this is far away. Shit, man. They can even detect it from that far.
With the Institute of Nuclear and... All right, stay calm. They're at 4.
Wow.
It's not them. Who's the next closest?
It's Chernobyl, but that's not possible. They're 400 kilometers away.
Too far for 8 Runken. They'd have to be split open. Maybe they know something.
Better call Chernobyl. Again, it feels wrong to sort of laugh at these things sometimes, but it's me just literally being in disbelief, you know?
No one's answering the phone.
Yeah, that tells you plenty. Oh my god. Complete fucking chaos.
Stop, stop! What are you doing? These are radiation burns. Their clothes are contaminated.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. They could carry it with them through clothes and stuff, right?
You was a firefighter for Chernobyl. Can you stop pushing, please?
Oh, she's looking for a husband from the first episode. Yeah, those couple of guys ain't gonna hold back shit. I gotta give it to some of these people, man, but like if they really did not panic even, they just continued their duties, I'd be the first one to get the hell out of there.
Professor Legasov. Oh, no, not yet. They're finishing up some other business. It'll be a few more minutes. Can I get you some tea?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Would you care to read Deputy Chairman Shabina's report while you wait?
Certainly, thank you.
What's the report gonna say? Yeah, he can't believe it. But what would it actually say? I mean, he doesn't know of any of the details yet right now, right? He's from somewhere else. So is he actually realizing now what the actual scope of the situation is?
Thank you all for your duty to this commission. We will begin with Deputy Chairman Sherbina's briefing.
In terms of radiation, Plant Director Bricano reports no more than 3.6 Strontium.
Oh my
I'm told
god.
it's the equivalent of a chest X-ray, so KGB First Deputy Chairman Sharkov assures me that we have successfully protected our security interests.
Good.
Yeah, so he can tell what's going on clearly. The guy with the wine stain, is that Gorbachev? I do remember his physical appearance.
I think the true number is much, much higher. If I'm right, this fireman was holding the equivalent of 4 million chest x-rays in his hand.
Oh my god.
It's not alarmist if it's a fact.
Well, I don't hear any facts at all. All I hear is a man I don't know, engaging in conjecture, in direct contradiction to what has been reported by party officials.
I get that. From his perspective.
Please may I express my concern as calmly and as respectfully as I...
Professor Legasov.
Boris, I will
Let
allow
him.
it.
Yeah. But he seems open-minded, so that's nice at least, you know. That's different from all the other guys I've seen so far.
Winds will carry radioactive particles across the entire continent. Rain will bring them down on us. That's 3 million, billion, trillion bullets in the air we breathe.
Yes, and this concern stems entirely from the description of a rock.
I get that sounds crazy. But just that part alone, I mean, he is right about it.
I want you to go to Chernobyl
Wise decision, Comrade General Secretary.
and take Professor Legasov with you.
Forgive me, Comrade General Secretary, but I
Do
don't...
you know how a nuclear reactor works?
No.
He thought he could just damage control the situation. Going there, going back, saying, no, nothing going on. Now he has to bring him. So, how are you going to try to murder him? Obviously you can't murder him, because that would look very suspicious if he didn't show back up. He needs the both of them coming back to report, obviously. What are they going to try to bribe him? Doesn't seem like... I mean, you can probably read already that he would never allow that to happen.
How does a nuclear reactor work?
What? You take an unstable element like uranium-235, which has too many neutrons. A neutron is,
The bullet.
yes, the bullet.
Well, at least he paid attention.
In RBMK reactors, we surround the fuel rods with graphite to moderate, slow down the neutron flux.
Good. I know how a nuclear reactor works.
I don't think that's everything that's to it.
No, I don't need you.
What, you think you could just drop him off? What is he talking about?
Excuse me, I am Vasily Ignatenko's wife. Ignatenko, 6th Paramilitary Fire and Rescue Unit. I need to find him. Please.
They got way bigger problems on their hands.
Look, that's graphite on the roof. The core's exposed.
I can't see how you can tell that from here.
For God's sake.
Oh my god.
If we can't see, we don't know. Get us directly over the building.
Oh
Boris.
my
Don't you
god.
Directly over
I
an
haven't
atom
asked for your
reactor will be
advice.
dead within a week. Dead! Sir?
Get us over that building, or I'll have you shot.
I will say I am surprised continuously how some of these people are willing to put themselves in danger. Like, I do have to respect how seriously they take their responsibility in a way, or their positions, you know? That they're willing to sacrifice their own health over it. As wrong as they obviously are.
There has been an accident at Chernobyl, but I've been assured there is no problem.
I'm telling you that there is.
I prefer my opinion to yours.
I'm a nuclear physicist. Before you were deputy secretary, you worked in a shoe factory.
Oh shit. Just exposing this guy.
Stable iodine will keep your thyroid from absorbing radioactive iodine. Get as far from Minsk as you can.
Well, even just looking out for her. Yeah, she's following up on the advice though. Contrary to Mr. Big Mac. Oh, him again. The only good thing I can say about him is that I really like his voice. It's so raspy. You can tell it's from all the smoking that he does, but yeah, weirdly enough, I like that.
We have begun our own inquiry into the cause of the accident, and I have a list of individuals who we believe are accountable.
Which individuals would those be? A bunch of people that died at the at the plant already.
Professor Legasov, I understand you've been saying dangerous things.
Please, tell me how an RBMK reactor core explodes.
I'm not prepared to explain it at this time.
It's disgraceful. Really.
Man.
Spread disinformation at a time like this.
Oh, dude, they just keep confronting him and trying to make him crawl back in fear.
Our high-range dosimeter just arrived.
Have one of your men get as close to the fire as he can. Give him every bit of protection you have, but understand that even with lead shielding, it may not be enough.
Then I'll do it myself.
Wow. Are we going to be able to trust that dosimeter though? I guess so. But then there wouldn't be anything to cover up anymore. I guess this is it. Huh. Does he have to ram the gate or what? Oh, wow, he really did. Are they going to be able to actually remotely see what's being measured? I guess they're just waiting for the report.
He's back.
Okay, here we go. Something tells me they're not gonna hear the actual correct answer.
It's not through Röntgen. It's 15,000.
Holy shit!
What does that number mean?
That means exactly what you think it means.
Please escort Comrades Bakhanov and Fomin to the local party headquarters. For your service.
Escort him right to jail, please.
Dyatlov was in charge.
Or the gulag. Dyatlov, yeah.
Obviously, we're going to need to evacuate an enormous area.
Never mind that. Focus on the fire.
I am focusing on the fire. At least evacuate Pripyat. It's 3 kilometers away.
That's my decision to make.
Then make it.
I've been told not to.
Is it or is it not your decision?
I'm in charge here.
What the hell? On one hand he's like, oh, I'm in charge, and on the other hand he's still not willing to make the decision. Well, at least he's helping out in some way.
I'd prefer one of those.
What, alcohol? Yeah, I would need a drink after this. Although, to be fair, you'll want to maintain your focus.
Anything we should be worried about?
Nope, just keep on.
No.
Yep. Enjoy your stay. Meanwhile, I'm drinking myself. Completely fucking drunk over here. For absolutely no reason at all, don't worry. Oh, wow. "30 hours already, so it is the day after. The day after the next day, basically.
Copy. We'll go 1 by 1 in rotation.
So this is where they're finally gonna be dropping that stuff.
Lead 1 is too close. I repeat, they are too close.
Copy.
He literally went in there. Yo, he's not even coming out anymore, dude. We're gonna see it crash. What's happening? Okay. Oh, shit. Man, this is hopeless. It's like he's just witnessing a suicide mission, realizing what task he sent them all with.
I was actually calling about our friend. You know, the one in the country.
Oh, yes, of course. I wanted to see how he's doing. It's so hot there right now.
Yes, it's extremely hot. But his nephews are flying down.
And they always bring cool weather.
Oh, which nephews?
Simka, who's 14, and little Boris, who's 5.
Wow, code language.
They're dropping sand and boron on the fire.
Yeah, they can tell what's going on. Does she not agree with that tactic, though? Didn't seem like there were any other options.
It's been smooth. 20 drops.
Was he acting all smug about that? Like they already did it.
Professor Ilyin, who's also on the commission, says the radiation isn't high enough to evacuate.
Ilyin isn't a physicist.
Well, he's a medical doctor. If it says it's safe, it's safe.
Not if they stay here.
We're staying here.
Yes, we are. And we'll be dead in 5 years.
I mean, he does understand, though, that he's talking about long-term damage that it's causing. Sure, people might not be dropping dead in the city right now as it's happening. It's like it's only now just, like, hitting him.
A nuclear plant in Sweden has detected radiation and identified it as a byproduct of our fuel. The Americans took satellite photos.
AKA the whole world knows.
The whole world knows. The wind has been blowing toward Germany. Not letting children play outside.
Yeah, it's devastating, man. All these people aren't even aware what's happening to them right now. Tourist buses. Oh, are they all heading to there to evacuate people finally? That must be what it is, right?
Складывается неблагоприятная радиационная обстановка. Принимаются необходимые меры.
Yeah. How crazy is that people are being escorted out and they never came back? You can still find the city completely abandoned like that. Even the hospital had to clear. Oh, this guy. You wonder if he ever questioned his ideology afterwards. I don't know how much longer he had. Yeah. Must have been crazy to undergo this whole experience together with that guy who at first... It's interesting because at first he was kind of on the opposite side of him, and then now at least they got to the same page.
Listen to me, I need to speak to someone urgently.
Turn around right now or I'll arrest you.
If you arrest me, you should take me to the highest possible authority.
She just wants to help. Now she's gonna obviously get in contact here with the... our guys. Legasov.
Smothering the core will put the fire out, but the temperature will eventually increase. It will melt down.
I'm perfectly aware. But I estimate at least a month before it melts through the lower concrete pad, which gives us time.
No, you don't have a month. You have approximately 2 days. Yes.
They've been gushing water into the structure this whole time.
Tanks are full.
Man, our guy here looks like he's just ready to give up.
Do you understand what's at stake? Boris?
Professor Legasov will deliver our briefing.
I gotta give it to him, man. At least he finally gave it to Legasov.
Approximately 7,000 cubic meters of water, causing a significant thermal explosion.
How significant?
We estimate between 2 and 4 megatons. Everything within a 30-kilometer radius will be completely destroyed.
Holy shit. So it'll literally just be a massive blast.
Which will extend approximately 200 kilometers and likely be fatal to the entire population of Kiev, as well as a portion of Minsk.
For real?
The release of radiation will be severe and will impact all of Soviet Ukraine, Latvia, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Romania, and most of East Germany.
Dude, they would have hit me in the Netherlands here a little bit. I don't understand, like, was it actually this much at risk? How do you even react to that, yeah?
50 million people living in Belarusia and Ukraine.
60, yes.
Yeah, thanks for the correction, dude. Okay, so what's the plan? Here we go.
The tanks are sealed shut by a sluice gate, and the gate can only be opened manually from within the duct system itself. So we need to find 3 plant workers
To go back
who
in.
know the facility well enough to enter the basement here. The water in these ducts, the level of radioactive contamination.
They'll likely be dead in a week.
Yeah.
We're
A literal
asking for your
suicide
permission
mission.
to kill 3 men.
It seems that sacrificing, yeah, 3 people for 60 million is the best trade-off you can make. Messed up as it sounds. Are they talking about the same valves where we saw those workers dying last episode? Did they not already, like, empty some of it then? I'm guessing not.
The valve will be difficult to operate, so we'll need 3 men. And of course, any volunteers will be rewarded.
How? By
Yearly stipend
compensation
of
for their families.
400 rubles.
400 rubles?
You even know how contaminated it is.
I don't have an exact number.
You don't need an exact number to know if it will kill us.
Are they purposefully lying to them? Not telling them that they'll be dead super quickly? Because they knew it just now.
But if you don't, millions will die. This is what has always set our people apart. 1,000 years of sacrifice in our veins. And every generation must know its own suffering.
Anonenko.
Wow. First volunteer.
Where's Parlov? Baranov.
There we go. Got our 3 guys. Clearly his speech did work. Yeah, you do notice that what's weighing quite heavy on Legasov is the fact that he realized that he's sending all these people to die, you know? Same with the helicopter earlier in the episode. Shit, man, so we're gonna be following their mission, I presume, in the next episode? Imagine having to make your way through this. I assume they're gonna have to do some diving then too, right? Like, how can you even keep track of the layout and everything on the water? That sound we're hearing is from, like, radiation meters, right? Yeah. Oh, dude. Is this too bad already, or what? Can they not be here? Oh my god, it's only getting worse. Oh, shit. Is this already a failed mission? The light stopped working. Dude, they just entered. Oh my god. Yeah. Wow. That looks like they're not even gonna be able to, well, even begin. Yeah, I will say the best thing I can probably say about this episode, or at least something that once again stood out to me, is how I felt significantly less frustrated watching the second episode. And it's just because that first one so much focused on these people that were all trying to downplay the situation, that were trying to hide the reality of what was going on. Whereas in this one, it seemed like at first it was going to start out very similarly, because here was Legasov, who, of course, realizes the full scope, from the get-go. But then these people at the boardroom meeting that they had, well, there was the one guy, Boris, who initially seemed to be going along with that narrative, right? And he was still selling that idea of like, oh no, it's only 3.6 run gun or whatever it's called, and we'll be fine. It's a little accident, nothing happens, right? And then at first you literally go like, okay, as soon as they get sent with the both of them towards the nuclear plant, it makes me just think at first like, oh shit, so what is this Boris? This Boris guy seems like he's gonna be our antagonist, you know, in this episode. And he's gonna try everything in his power to not have that story reach through, I guess. But that's not what it ended up becoming. And that's what had me definitely a lot more relieved. Because you see now that, to Boris it became very clear as well quickly, yeah, that the situation was fucked up. And they even sent some of those guys from the previous episode off somewhere, inevitably. Well, we know that, the one guy with the mustache from last episode, he's going to go to prison for 10 years. That's what we know from the opening of the show. I wonder if any of these other guys will still be punished, like the 2 that they did send away. But thank God, man. I mean, I was honestly, like I said, just really relieved to see that, because it meant that we could now focus on the actual objective and focus on saving what was still possible to be saved, because of course a lot of damage was already done in the process. Yeah, and so that's basically what the latter half of the episode showed us, is like finally the city has been evacuated. I'm surprised we didn't even really get to see much of a view of the... Well, I guess it makes sense. I never really know why I have these expectations then in advance, because it's like, okay, what can you really show of the city, right? People were just living their lives like they normally would, not really realizing what was going on as much. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was sort of just expecting to see that the Ferris wheel and to see people go to those things that I knew about, see the swimming pool, I guess one last time, while people actually were just living their regular lives. But again, they evacuated the city, and the mission then very much became of like, okay, first putting out that fire, but then now realizing that like, oh shit, the whole thing is going to cause a blast because of the water, and now we need to send 3 guys back into it on a suicide mission to try and prevent that from happening. Yeah, and going by how the episode ended, I don't exactly have the highest expectations of that going right. But then again, we know that the shockwave never happened. I'm genuinely surprised by that, because I'll probably need to look it up again, but I feel like I kind of don't want to do it. Like, I don't really want to look up much more about this until after I finish the show. But I never realized how... If this is true, like, is this all completely accurate? And was even Europe, when you think about it, this much at risk by it all? Like, would that shockwave have literally caused Ukraine, and they talked about a couple other countries surrounding it, to have to evacuate? Yeah, and even, again, like, people being able to well, I guess the shockwave itself causing damage much further than that, with a much further reach than I'd ever imagined. I never realized that. So I can only imagine, like, it must have been a thing, right? But then again, it's kind of hard to know that, because the opening of the show also talks about, again, history and how we don't really know as much about it as we'd like to think. And therefore, I wouldn't be surprised either if there's some details in the show that it's like, okay, perhaps made up, right? Like, again, I don't know. I'm just saying this right now off the top of my head, with the intention to look up much more about it later, and then to realize whether this was all, accurate, or if some of it is kind of like this what if situation, or like what if we never knew really the full scope of it, right? That kind of thing. Both cases would be great to me. Would still be very interesting to think about, but. That being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed my reaction to episode 2 of Chernobyl. If you did, then you can already watch the next and last 3 episodes over on my Patreon page, which is going to be linked on top of the description. Over there, you can finish the show with me right away, as well as, of course, watch my full-length reactions if you want to see me react to the episodes in their entirety. With that being said, I want to thank you all a lot for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you back in the next episode.